All right, so just take a look at this tweet here coming from Nick over at Coin Bureau. And we talked about this earlier in the week, but if you remember in some of our videos, we've kind of broken down the end of the week was the key time. And Tim Scott expected all of this to happen today. And after the Senate Republican meeting, these are some of the things that came out of this with Eleanor breaking it down. I think some major light bulbs, this was being said by Senator Lummis. Major light bulbs were switched on during the meeting. And also, she mentions that it happened with people she would not have expected it to encounter when she walked in the room. So, interesting people there for sure. Now, Patrick Witt emerged from the meeting looking a little frustrated. So, no comment also. Tim Scott emerged smiling, but he's always smiling, but he did decline to comment. I don't know if we've got a deal or not, but it's Friday, and you know what happens on Fridays, guys. We always get that late minute drop coming in out of the blue when liquidity is low. You know what happens. So could be some trades going on. Eleanor went on right here, and this is a good example of that. The White House Council of Economic Advisors now has a study examining stablecoin yield and its potential impact on deposit flight. And basically, what the study says is there's no potential deposit flight. So they've been holding this, or they've had it, or they just presented it, showing the banks that there's no deposit flight here. So all of this time, you've been crying and complaining about deposit flight. And in fact, the data shows otherwise. That shows you how much BS was being presented from that banking summit, the yield summit that we presented earlier in the week. If you guys remember, go watch that video. The things they said in that meeting. The other thing you got to look at is that this occurred, and this is where Republicans were considering adding a bank deregulatory provision to the housing package. That got a pushback. Now, what we're dealing with right here from Politico is that that portion of it has been, guess where, moved over to adding it to the crypto bill. So, what it boils down to illustrates the market structure bill, a long-time priority for the House, could be used as leverage to get House Republicans to accept the Senate's housing legislation. That came from John Kennedy right there. So I don't like stuff being added to these bills. It should be taken away, taking stuff away. But I don't know if this is something, and again, we tried to do some research on this to find out what kind of regulatory elements were there. It's like dark. There's no real explanation of what it is. So I want to know what that means because we may have a crypto bill that is going to be having that in it. Here was Eleanor hitting it again. We're 99% of the way there on stablecoin yields, and negotiations on digital asset portions of the bill are in a good place. That came from Senator Lummis. Also, Jasper Gordon has Senate banking Republicans are now discussing adding the community bank deregulation provisions to that, to the Market Clarity Act. Okay, so clarity. And that was exactly what I was just showing. Why add that now? What is it correlated into these community banks? Something's up here. Don't know what it is. But we do know this. We know what a yield sign is. And so does Senator Lummis. She has put it out right there. And this happened today at about 9 o'clock in the morning. What happens after 5 today? Here we are, just a few minutes. Other things that are happening, crypto is lamenting the loss of key allies in Capitol Hill, especially after Lummis is out. Because remember, this is her swan song. This is the thing she's going to count on to get her next job, her next book, her next consulting gig. I got this through for the Bitcoin community, for all of crypto. This is her swan song. So it is one that matters. However, the Clarity Act getting signed into law is still looking a little bit, meh right now, still holding at 60%. So not moving on any of these movements right now. This is a big deal because if we don't get clarity, and even though what's happening is that we've had these IPO plans frozen from companies. And I think a lot of people who are in crypto that are considering IPOs are now watching this, and you need IPOs. That is the lifeblood of the stock market. And if we start seeing the listings losing steam, like here with Kraken, this is going to have a big impact on markets in general because IPOs are going to be massive. This is one of the biggest new entries on the market next to AI, which is blockchain. So we should have a whole litany of companies lined up, ready to go, but that may not necessarily be the case. There is one, though, might be lining up here pretty soon. That might be Ledger. They have now hired the former Circle executive, John Andrews, as their CFO. Let's remember, Circle went public as it expands to the U.S. footprint ahead of a potential IPO. Let me know what you guys think. Who would be a great IPO that you think should go? Is Ledger on that list? Who are others that you guys think would be the case? Drop some comments down below. And man, next week is going to be huge, so stick around.
If you like this video, hit like and subscribe, drop a comment down below, and also join our free private member group. The link is in the description.